Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi and good day. In this video, I'm going to explain to you one sample project that is going to implement the nested sentinel loop, array and also method. This is just a sample so that you can get a brief idea about how to develop your own project. So you can be more creative than this. Hopefully, it will be helpful for you. Okay, first, let's take a look about the project requirements. So firstly, your project is supposed to be an interactive program. You should ask input from user. Next, you are supposed to implement the selection, repetition and method that we have learned in class. So all these are expected to be included in your project. The most important is you need to keep information in the array and manipulate the information that you have kept in the array. Next one, you are supposed to have a view function. So this is just to enable us to see what is the current content of the array, whether you have added the information in the array correctly, whether you have deleted the information or you have updated and so on. So this view function is important so that we can see what is the current state of your array. Next one is you have to have at least two additional functions. You can choose at least two from this, whether you want to add, update, delete or search the content of the array. But if you are able to do all of these functions, then you are going to get extra marks if you can perform all of them. Now your program also need to have the menu and submenu. This is for the navigation. And it is also expect that you can include calculation in your system. So you need to be creative. You have to think what is the appropriate calculation that you can include in your own system. Okay, but the last one is to include the comments. So this is just to make the readers understand your code. Okay, this is important so that it will be useful for the upcoming users of your system. Okay, so I'm going to give you one example here, which is a hotel bill management system. So the scenario is like this. Okay, COVID-19 pandemic is getting worse, so the hotel industry is highly affected. Therefore, Remosh Hotel would like to make a promotion to increase the number of its customers. You are going to develop a program for this hotel which will calculate the hotel bills for its customers and keep their information. So basically the information will be kept in the array. Okay, the amount that need to be paid depends on the customer type. So we have two customer types which are golden or regular. Also, it depends on the number of stays, so how many days the customer stays in the hotel, and also the room type. So here we have three types of rooms with different rates. We have superior, deluxe and executive. Okay, so there are two types of customers that I have mentioned earlier, golden and regular. Basically, the calculation of the bill is similar for both, where you have to multiply the room rate with the number of stay. However, the deduction rate is different between both. So for golden customer, they will get 75% of deduction, while regular customer will get only 30% of deduction. So keep in mind that the hotel is trying to attract more customers, so that's why they give this lot of deduction, so that at least they will have someone to come to the hotel rather than not having any customer in the hotel. Okay, so next one is about the rates of the room. So we have three types of rooms here. Superior, the rate is 210, deluxe is 230, while the executive room is 260. So based on this information, you are going to develop a system which implements the array, use the nested sentinel loop. You are going to manipulate the information in the array and so on, as we have seen in the project requirement just now. Okay, so firstly, what you need to do is you need to decide what are the information that you are going to keep in the array. So as we are going to develop a hotel bill management system, so here I'm going to keep information about the customer. So customer, what are the related information that is needed? First is the customer IC, customer name, and then the customer phone number. What is the customer type, whether it is regular or golden, and then how many days of stay, how many days that will be kept in this customer stay, and what is the room type that the customer choose, and what is the total payment that customer has made. Basically, all of this information will be kept in the array. If you see here, there are 7 arrays. As we have learned in the class, each array can only keep one data type. So that's why each information is in different array. But how are you going to know which information is for which customer? So do that. For customer number 1, all of the information is going to be in the index 0. So if you have more than that, for customer 2, the information will be in index 1. So if I have customer 1, the customer IC will be kept in index 0 in IC array. The customer name for the first customer will be kept in the name array in index 0 as well, and similarly to the others. So in index 0, it is going to be all about customer number 1. In index 1 is going to be information all about customer number 2, and so on. If you see here, I have put here n because the number of the index of the array depends on whatever value that you declare in your own system. So this is the last index of your array. Basically, this is the idea. Next, I'm going to show you the sample run so that you can get the idea of the whole project first before you move on to the code itself. I run the program. It's going to display for me the main menu here. Basically, there are 6 choices that user can choose from. First, number 1 is to add a record. Number 2 is to update a record. Number 3, delete. Number 4, search for a record. 5 is to view all of the records that we have, and lastly is exit. 6. So let's say I choose number 1, add the record. So the system is going to ask me the IC number of the customer, name of the customer, phone number, the customer's type. So let's say it is a golden type. Number of stay, let's make it as 2. The room type is superior, and it's going to calculate the payment and display it here. And also we have the message saying that the record has been successfully added. So let's say I want to add another record. Similarly, I'm going to add the IC number, name, customer type, stay 1 day, so this is the total payment, and message for us that the record has been added. So let's say I in and no. So now what can I do next is I want to view the information whether it has been recorded or not. So I choose number 5 to view all record. If you can see here, we have 1 table. So this is just to display the table and display whatever value that we have in the array right now. So we have 2 customers here, Aminah and Khadijah. This is all of the information that we have in the array. If we can refer back to our slide just now, actually in the memory we already have this information about the 2 customers in each of the arrays. So for the IC number, it is here. For customer number 1 and number 2, the name Aminah Khadijah. So here is the Aminah and Khadijah information in array cast name. Next one is the phone number for both customers, customer type, room, and also the payment. So similar to what we have in this display table. Okay, if you have more than this, the customer that you are going to add is going to be in this the next indexes of your array. Basically, that is how the idea is when you add the customer. Okay, so next let me show you the update. Let me choose number 2. Number 2 is going to ask the customer IC number. Let me choose this one. Okay, here it's going to ask me again which information that I would like to update. So for this system, I only allow the update to be done for the phone number, number of stay, or room type. So let me choose room type. Okay, the user would like to change the room type. So it's going to ask me which room type I'm going to update. So previously I have chosen, this customer has chosen superior. So now customer would like to update to deluxe. So the record will be updated and we will have the message here. So to check whether it has been updated or not, so here we can review again. Okay, if you can see here, previously Aminah chose superior in the previous table. Now it is updated to deluxe. Okay, so not only the room type is updated, payment also has been updated. Previously it was 105. Now we have to update since we have the customer has chosen different room, so the payment will be different. So that one is also updated as well. So let me show you the next one to delete. If I choose number 3, so here again we are going to delete based on the customer's IC. So whatever manipulation that you're going to do, whether it is update, delete, search, going to be based on the IC number, because that is our key information that we refer to. Okay, so let's say I want to delete the first customer. I key in the IC number. So now it has been deleted. So let's check our array. Let me choose number 5. Now we only have one customer in the array in our record. Okay, so let's say I want to search but I only have one, so I'll just add another information, another customer again. Let me just quickly key in the values. Okay, for this Korea. Okay, so we have added another record. So let me say no. So now I want to show you to search. Let me search this information about the previous one. Choose the IC number. So here I have to choose number 4. Again I have to key in the IC number. Going to display for me the IC, the information about the customer here. So take note that this searching is done for only for one record. If you want to view for all records, then you have to choose the number 5. Here we are going to display again all of the record that we have currently. So I think I have shown you all of this. So the last one is X to exit the system. So once you choose the number 6, it's going to display you choose to exit. Thank you. So okay, so hopefully you have got a rough idea of how the program is going to be. So let's move on to the code. In the beginning of the class, start with the declaration of static variables and also array declarations. So we have here scanner object creation, and after that I have 7 arrays here declared as static. So as I mentioned, in this program, we are going to keep information about the customer IC, customer name, customer phone, customer type, customer number of stay, the room type, and also the payment. So each of that information will be recorded in a particular array. And the size that I choose here is 50. So just to standardize, I make all of them as 50. So next, we have variable snow. This variable snow is for tracking the index value. So if for the first customer, the information will be kept in index 0. So after we have added one information about the customer, the snow variable will be increased with 1. So the next one will be 1. So from 0, it becomes 1, 2, 3, and so on. So based on that, we can know which index that we are going to keep the information of the current customer. Okay, and next we also have variable choice. So this choice is just to keep the value that user choose when they want to choose the operation that we have in the main menu. Okay, I have chunked this class into small methods. Each method is going to perform a particular task we have learned in the class. Okay, so first we have this method display menu. So this method is just going to display the menu when the user run the program. Next we have add record method. So this method is going to add the information about the customer. Next we have method update record. So this method is going to update the record that user would like to edit. Next we have method delete record. So this is to delete a record of the customer. Next, what we have view record method. We also have method search record. This method for searching information of the customer. And the last one is method calculate payment. So this method is going to calculate the total payment made by the that need to be paid by the user. And finally, we have our main method. This is only main method. So this is the main method for our program. So let's go one by one. Okay, this one, let's see this display menu method. We only have SOPs. So this is just to print out the operation that user can choose from. So we have 1, 2, 3 until 6, and the user is going to key in what is the choice of operation that they would like to perform. So if they choose 1 is to add, 2 is to update, and so on, and last is number 6 is to exit. Okay, that's all that we have in the display menu method. So this method can be called again and again because we might need to display the menu more than one time since we are working with looping. Okay, so instead of writing the similar code for many times, we can just make them in one particular method so that can be called again and again. Okay, similar to the others also, the other methods also, that is the purpose of having the method, that we can use it again and again. Okay, so next we have the method add record. So I make it as void since everything is going to be performed in this method, and this method is not going to send back any value. So there is no parameter in the method. It's empty. Okay, let's see what we have in this method. So this one is just to read to declare the variable choice add. So now we need to know choice add is whether the user would like to add another record or not. If you see in this method, I'm using do while loop, and this do while loop is going to read whether user is going to add another record or no. So this is the use of this choice add variable. So this part is just the cosmetic, just to tell the user that we are going to add a record. So inside the do while loop, this is where you are going to read input from the user, about the customer's information and save the information in appropriate array. So what we have here, since we have 7 information that we need to keep in the arrays, so first we are going to ask input for the customer's IC. So if you see here, we give instruction to the user, enter customer's IC, and here the next line is the code where you read the input and assign the value inside the appropriate array. So if you see, this is the code to read the input. Since a customer's IC is declared as a string, so I'm using this method to read the input. So this part is to read the input, and we assign the value into IC array. So if you notice here, we use casno. So as I mentioned just now, casno is to track what is the current index that we are going to keep the information. So for the first round, since let's say for the first customer, so the information is going to be kept in cast IC index 0. Okay. Similarly, we ask input for the customer's name, phone number, type of customer, number of stay, room type, and room type. Okay, so similar to the first one, we keep the information in the appropriate array. So customer's name we keep in cast name, phone number, cast phone, and so on until room number, until room type. Until room type. So those information that we can get directly from the user, so we read and assign directly into the array. But next one, if you see, we have a method call. This method is going to this code is going to call method calculate payment, and it is going to send this cast number to the method. So what is the purpose of calculate payment method? We are just going to calculate the total payment that the user need to the customer need to pay. And in the calculate payment method is where we are going to keep the information about the payment in the array of payment. So right now we don't have any assignment to the payment array yet, but it is going to be performed in calculate payment method. So we will see that next. Here we only have the method call. Okay, so after that, once we have finished with the assignment of the values in the arrays, so here I just print out what is the total payment so that we know how much is the payment. So how I print the value, I refer to the payment array. So as I said just now, when you call this method calculate payment, the total payment that need to be paid will be calculated, and the value will be assigned into the payment array. So based on that, we just print out what is the value that has been kept in this payment method. Payment array. Okay, after that, we just give a message to the user saying that the record has been successfully added. And before we end our loop, so here we have instruction to ask the user whether user would like to add another record or no. So if user would like to add another record, then we are going to repeat the whole thing again. Otherwise, if user choose no, we are going to stop the loop. But before we stop the loop, if you see here, we have casno plus plus. As I mentioned earlier, if we add one customer, the casno value will be added with 1. So just now it was 0. So once you have added one information of one record of customer, then it's going to be 1. So next time, if the user adds another customer record, so the customer record, the latest customer record will be kept in index 1. So after you add in index 1, casno value will be added with 1, so it's going to become 2. So once user add another information of customer, then that information will be kept in index 2. So this will be repeated until the array becomes full. Okay, so I hope it is clear with the use of casno. Okay, that's it we have in our add record method. So next we have update record method. So in this method, we are going to ask user which record that they would like to update. So firstly, before we can update any record, we need to search which record we are trying to update. So how to do the searching? We are going to base on the IC number. So because the IC number is the key information that we know about a person, so we use that IC number in order to get the index of that record. So based on that index, we are going to update the rest. Because one customer record is having the similar index for each of the array. So that is the way how it works. So here I have a declaration of the variable. Notice that this variable is declared inside this method, so it is only accessible within this method. Okay, so we have one flag variable to show whether we have found the information or not. Okay, if you see here, next is the instruction to get customer's IC from the user. So IC update is actually just to know what is the IC number that we would like to update. So here when we execute this 2 lines, we already get what is the IC number of the information that we would like to update. So based on that, we have this for loop. So this for loop we have learned before. I have explained in the previous video as well how to do the searching. So what we have here is inside the for loop, we traverse one by one information inside the array, and we are focusing on cast IC array because we are going to do the searching based on the customer IC. So if customer IC dot equals with the IC update that user would like to update just now, so we are going to just print out, okay, you want to update information of okay, if you see here, cast name xi. So why I put this, because I want to just to give confirmation to the user that we are going to update information of this person. So here I only have the IC number, but I want to write what is the name of that person. So I refer to array cast name, and I'm using the similar index. Okay, so it's going to print out what is the name of that particular customer. Okay, after that, going to give instruction, choose which information you would like to update. So in this program, I allow the user to update only the phone number, number of stay, or room type. The user can choose either 3 of them. Based on that, we have the if else here. Why we need this if else? Because the information that we need differs from each other. If user choose 1, we are going to ask information about the phone number. If user choose 2, it's going to be about the number of stay, and 3 is about the room type. So the instruction will be different. So that's why I have this if else statement. So if choose update is equal to 1, we have instruction given here, enter the new phone number. So here we are going to read the input, and we are going to assign into the cast phone array only. Because if this one is in the case that user choose number to be updated. Okay, else if choose update is equals to 2, so here user is going to update the number of stay. So the related array that is going to be updated is stay. So here I update the cast stay with the input the user give, and after that I call method calculate payment because I need to update the current payment since the number of stay has changed. So the payment that need to be paid by the customer also will be changed. So that's why we have the assignment of the new information into the appropriate array and together with the method call. Else if user didn't choose 1, 2, means the user choose 3. So we have the else part here. So here I'm going to ask whether user would like to enter the new room. What is the new room that user would like to update? So here I read the input and assign to array room. So similarly, I have call method calculate payment here since the room type has changed. So the payment also will be changed similar to the previous one. Okay, so here we have flag 1, flag equals to 1 and break for the for loop. Once we already have done with this, we are going to break the for loop. And at the end, you see here we have if flag equals to 0, meaning the customer information does not exist. Else, we just want to give information that the record has been updated successfully. Okay, so that's it what we have in update record method. Move on to delete record. So in this delete record method, it's going to delete the record based on the customer's IC number as well. So as I said earlier, we are going to perform the operation based on customer's IC. Okay, similar to the update record just now, we also have to use customer IC to delete the record. So similarly, this is also a void record, a void method. We don't have any parameter in the method. So here are the variables that I'm going to use in this method together with this one. Okay, so here we ask input from the user. What is the IC number that we would like to delete? So similar to for loop, similar to the update record just now, we also have for loop. So here we are going to traverse along the array as IC array, and we are going to compare whether it is similar to the IC delete or not. So if it is similar to IC delete, then that is the index that we are searching for. So what we do is we move the record in the next index to the in front. So we move everything. So this is where we move everything to the front. And finally, we have Casno minus minus. So instead of Casno plus plus just now, the Casno plus plus because we add a new record. But now we have deleted one record, so that's why we have to minus with 1 to keep track with the index that we are going to use for the next user. So if the Casno just now was 3, so now it becomes 2. Okay, here we have the delete equals to true and also the break. So this is finished for the for loop. So after the for loop, I have these lines of codes to empty the record in the last index. So I use the default values. For this one is for the string, this one is for the integer, and this one is for the double. So basically the value will be the value inside the particular index will be empty. At the end, we have if else statement. This is just to give information to the user whether the customer record does not exist or it has been deleted successfully. Okay, that's it. What we have in the method delete record. So next one, we are going to see method view record. So in this view record method, it is going to display all records that is available in the array, in the 7 arrays. So how do we do that? These 3 lines of code is just to make your output looks like a table. So what I use is printf, and I have formatted them into labels of the table here. So these are just the labels, but in order to print out the values in the array, so here I use the for loop. Okay, for loop and also SOP by using the printf method. So here is where I access all the values of the array. So here we have cast IC, cast name, cast phone, and cast type, cast stay, room, and also payment. If you notice here, I have used I less than cast no. Why I did this? Because I don't want to loop until the end of the array. I just want to repeat until where we have the where we have the value or record in the array. So if we have 7 records, it's going to repeat for 7 times. And if you notice here, it is less than or equal to, because our index starts from 0, so it should be cast no minus 1, like for example. Okay, so this loop will repeat until you have the record inside your arrays. Okay, that is the end of our view record method. Next one, we have search record. So this method is going to display one record of a customer based on the IC number. Just now we have view the whole record that we have in our array, but this one is to search a particular record. Okay, so similarly here we have the declaration of the variables. Next we have instruction given to the user where it asks user to enter the IC number that you would like to search. So here we assign the value into IC search. Here again we are going to have for loop. This for loop is to traverse along the array and search for the record. So if we are referring to cast IC array, so if cast IC index 1 dot equals IC search, so if it is equals with the input that user give just now, so this is where we are going to print out the values. Okay, similar to the view record just now, this is the header of your table, and this will be the print out for the information inside the array. Okay, so at the end we have the if flag goes to 0. This one is just to show that the customer record is not exist. Okay, so that is the end of the search record method. So last method that we have here is calculate payment. So if you see here, we have a void method. It is a void method, and it accepts one parameter here, which is index. So why we need this index? Because we need to know which particular payment that we are going to calculate. So based on that, we are going to do the calculation. So this is declaration of the variables. So here I have two sets of if-else statement. First if-else statement is to determine the room rate. So here I'm going to check what is the room rate for the particular customer. Okay, so because we already have the information in the room array, so based on the index that sent to us here, so we are going to see what is the room type that user has chosen. Okay, so if it is equal to superior, then the room rate is going to be 210. If the room is equal to deluxe, it will be 230. Otherwise, it's going to be 260. So that is one set, just to know what is the room rate. Okay, the next set of if-else, what we do here is we want to see what is the type of the customer. So if you see here, I have cast type. So cast type is where we keep the information about the customer type, either golden or regular. So I'm referring to the similar index that we have get from the method just now. So if the customer type is equal to golden, so this is how we do the calculation. Else we do these two calculations. So what is the difference between both? Is just the percent of discount or deduction rate. So first we will charge by multiplying the room rate that we get from here, from the if-else just now. So the room rate times with the customer stay. Customer stay, we again will refer to the stay array. Now we need to know how many days that the customer is going to stay in the hotel. So we refer to the array of stay, and we are referring to the similar index. So based on that, we do the multiplication, then we calculate the actual charge. The actual charge minus with 75% from the actual charge just now, you are going to get what is the total payment that need to be paid by the customer. So based on the calculation, we keep the information of the payment in payment method. In payment array in the particular index. So similarly, we do the same thing for the regular customer. So finally, at the end of this method execution, the information will be kept into a payment array. We already have the information in the payment array. So that's why just now when we call this method, when you add the record just now, we call this method and it is going to execute all of this. And at the end, you already know what is the payment that needs to be paid by the customer. That is the end of this method. Okay, let's move on to the main method. So what we have in the main method, so these 3 lines is just to welcome the user, welcoming message. And next we have the do while loop. So this is the part of where you have the do while loop. Inside the do while loop, we have a method called display menu. So this is just to display the menu that we have just now from 1 to 6. We just call the method and it's going to display the menu. After that, based on the choice that user choose for the operation, we have one switch case here. One switch statement here. So we are going to refer to the choice that user have made. So if the choice is 1, we are going to call method record. If the user choose 2, we are going to call method update record. If 3, we call method delete record. If 4, we call search record method. And finally 5, we call view record method. So that is the only thing that we have in the do while loop. So if you see, the do while loop condition is while choice not equals to 6. Number 6 is to exit the system. So this loop will continue until user choose number 6. Once user choose number 6, it's going to print out, you choose exit and thank you. That will be the end of the program. Hopefully you have got some idea about the project that you are going to develop. So bear in mind, this is just a sample to give you some brief idea. You can do something better than this. Maybe you can add on how to come up with a report. For example, if referring to this project that I have shown to you just now, maybe I would like to display income for the hotel for 1 week, for example, or for 1 month. So this is where we can refer back to the payment, and we can do analysis, and we can sum up how much the hotel has earned. So something related to that, something related things that you can do to the system. Okay, so you similarly you have to think about is the possible operations that you can do in your own system. So besides the add, update, record, add, update, delete, search, view, record, so maybe you can think about what are the appropriate methods that you can use in order to perform some calculation. Okay, so I hope that this video can help you as a beginning. Try to think creatively, and I wish you all the best. Try your best. Start from small, and you can increase the code. Don't do last minute, so that you won't get in trouble. Okay, so all the best. See you. Thank you.